This is the full process of making a killer YouTube video for a small channel. I'm going to show you the process for this channel here. This is a channel that I started and abandoned. I just don't have enough time to run it. But I thought if I'm going to show the full process of making a video, why not make it for this channel here? It's only got a few hundred subscribers, so I thought it'd be a really good case study. There are timestamps below in case you want to skip ahead to certain parts, but in this video, I'm going to show you the full process of making a killer YouTube video for a small channel. So here's what we're talking about today. How to come up with an idea for a video, then how to come up with 3 thumbnails for your idea. After that, we'll talk about value and understanding the value that's expected from your video. After that, we'll talk about the story structure for your video. After that, I'll script the intro for the video using my intro formula. After that, we'll come up with the different plot points throughout the video. After that, we'll write the shot list for the video. Then you'll see how awkward it is for me to talk to the camera and say the same thing over and over again, recording the A-roll for the video. After that, you'll see me editing. After that, I'll show you the end Premiere Pro timeline. And then after that, I'll show you the actual data from YouTube Studio for this video 1 week after it's been posted. This is the full process of making a killer YouTube video for a small channel. If you find this interesting, please subscribe. Let's get into it. Also, I want to quickly mention, please do not subscribe to the pen channel. It will just ruin the data going forward, which will make it very difficult for me to post going forward. And it will also make it difficult for me to make videos in the future that are similar to this because the CTR will be ruined, the average view duration, a bunch of stuff. So please do not subscribe unless you are genuinely a fan of pens, which I'm guessing is not most of you. Okay, let's get into it. All right, so here's my channel that I abandoned. The first one here has 10K views, which I'm pretty happy with for a first video. Then 6.5, 2.5, 1.3. The reason that these are decreasing in views is that I've chosen the wrong topics basically for these videos in terms of total addressable market. So this one here, G2, it's I think one of the most used pens in the world. So by the way, this whole channel is just about pens, like physical pens, just reviewing pens. It's very niche. To be honest, not something I'm super interested about, but I saw there was a gap in the market, so I made this video in about 4 hours or something. Created the channel, posted it, and then, yeah, all of a sudden it did pretty well. And I made some more, but I just didn't have the bandwidth to really put full effort into this channel. But yeah, basically a lot of people use this pen. Not as many use this pen, not as many use this pen. So each of these videos here is just decreasing in the amount of people that know and use these pens. And then lastly, this one here, you have to know both of these pens in order to find this video interesting, which will be an even smaller total addressable market. Basically, the reason I started this channel was I went into a stationery shop and I saw that there were pens for like hundreds of dollars. And I just thought, that is crazy. I didn't realize people spend that much money on pens. And I went on YouTube and realized a lot of these videos perform quite well whilst being not that great, which is a pretty good sign that if you do put in effort with scripting and production and thumbnails, then you can perform quite well on YouTube for that niche. And with the first video being only 5 minutes long and performing quite well, I was like, for a new channel, I was like, all right, cool. This is definitely a niche that works. Bear in mind, this one, yeah, took like 4 hours to make in total. So in this first step here, what we are going to do is just try to find a video idea. Now, there are 2 methods in finding good video ideas. The first one is to look for inspiration from other YouTube videos that have already been posted and you're just looking for outliers. The second option is to use my YouTube title formula. I talk about this in my course. It's a very effective strategy, but in this video, I am just going to do the outlier method. So yeah, knowing that, let's look for basically some good video ideas. So I'll be searching by view count, and I want to search for videos that are between 4 minutes and 20 minutes long. Budget calligraphy pen, 3.7 million views, the end of ink. So I don't want to go out and buy any pens for this video. I want to do this video today, if possible, the whole thing. So I'll just work with what I have. So I have these 3 pens and another pen somewhere. I really haven't spent much money and effort into buying pens. So what I want to do here is just find like what people care about. Now, the people making these videos here are experts in pens, which I am not. This one here is interesting. In search of perfection, the perfect pen. Since I don't have many pens and I can't do like a full, like my 300 pen collection kind of video, I want to find a video idea where it just requires 1 pen. Another thing I know people search for is EDC, which means everyday carry. And that is giving me some inspiration. The 11 best EDC pens 2024 guide. I could do something like, let's just say I use the 3 pens I have here. The 3 best EDC pens 2025 guide. Obviously, what I'm doing right now isn't very creative, to be honest. I'm just looking at outliers and then pretty much taking heavy inspiration from that idea. With my YouTube title formula in my course, it's a lot more creative than this. Right now, we're just pretty much seeing what people have done and what works well. The best EDC pen, urban survival gear, big idea design, complete pen collection. All right, the first video that we are going to take heavy inspiration from is this one here. The 3 best EDC pens 2025 guide. And then we'll do this one here, in search of perfection. I finally found the perfect pen. My 2025 EDC. That just seems to be a thing that people care about in this niche. Everyday carry is EDC. Another option is, because these 3 pens here are super cheap compared to, you know, the $100 pens that I found in the store, I've found the best budget-friendly EDC pen. 7 fountain pens under $25, 120,000 views, EDC pen extravaganza, budget edition. When I see a video like this, then I think, okay, there's a lot of opportunity here. So he's got 10,000 subscribers and he got 120,000 views. So that is a good sign for me. I'll screenshot this as well. The best budget-friendly EDC pens. You know what? We'll make it 3. So I'll talk about all 3. Or if I can find my other pen, 4. This is good. This gives me 3 title options. One thing I'm wondering is, could we add some loss aversion to the title? So right now, they're all pretty positive, you know? The 3 best, I finally found the perfect pen, the best budget-friendly, they're all very positive. They're all game motivation, basically. Like, how do you get something good? I want to see if I can come up with an idea that's basically more negative, more loss aversion focused. What the pen community gets wrong about pens. What's something else? I threw out all my pens for this one pen. The 3 best EDC pens 2025 guide. I finally found the perfect pen. The best budget-friendly EDC pens. I threw out all my pens for this one pen. What the pen community gets wrong about pens. I actually quite like this one here. I think I might merge a few of them. I threw out all my pens. My 2025 minimalist EDC pen collection. So it's not all my pens. That's a lie, because I still have some. I threw out most of my pens. Most of? That just doesn't sound as captivating. I threw out most of my pens. I threw out some of my pens. That's not interesting. We could have in the thumbnail me throwing out some pens and then keeping some of them. That works as well, because then we get some, you know, loss aversion in there, like, oh, why are you throwing stuff away? My 2025 minimalist EDC pen collection. So, should I go with budget-friendly or should I go with minimalist for this one? Which one has a broader appeal, basically, is what I want to know. Budget ballpoint pen, which is a type of pen. So the most viewed one here is 184,000 views. And then I'll search for minimalist ballpoint pen. Minimalist ballpoint pen doesn't seem to have a specific video which is called that. I'll just do minimalist pen. Minimalist ballpoint pen review, 2,000 views. So it doesn't look like people care about that. So it looks like people want budget friendly. I think this could be the video idea here. My 2025 budget EDC pen collection. I think that's a fun video idea. It doesn't have a loss aversion thing. So I want to have that in the thumbnail. I hate that that's the way, but often, you know, that's a really easy way to perform better on YouTube. If we look at my channel, you know, my best performing video by far is graphic designers are bad thumbnail designers. Here's why. It's very negative, and I hate that that is the best performing video, but people are just more likely to click on something like that, you know, loss aversion focus. Same thing with this. You've been lied to about YouTube thumbnails. The truth, you know, people are just more likely to click on a video that is very loss aversion focused instead of game motivation. So what I'll do is take this title here. I think this is the one that I'll go with, my 2025 budget EDC pen collection. That will be my title, and I might add some loss aversion to the title, or I might add that loss aversion to the thumbnail. But now that we have the title, the next thing is drawing out 3 thumbnails using my caveman technique. All right, the next step in the process is coming up with 3 thumbnail design layouts. So I'm going to draw 3 rectangles here. And basically, I just want to figure out what I need to put into these three here in order to visually describe what this video is. So there are 4 goals with a thumbnail, and I won't go through all of them in this video, but one of the goals of your thumbnail is to visually explain the premise of the video. So for this, I need to get this point across here in the thumbnails visually. So you should understand this without having to read the title. And that can be quite difficult to do. And that's why before we jump into Photoshop or before we set up a photo shoot, we just start by sketching. So if you think about cavemen, a caveman, in order to get the point across of a story or get some information across, they would have to draw with sketches and doodles on a cave wall. So now put yourself in the shoes of a caveman who is trying to convey, here's my 2025 budget EDC pen collection. That's what this caveman wants to try and get across. So in just icons, in just a drawing, how would a caveman visually get across that information? That is what we're trying to achieve here in the caveman game. Okay, the first one here is going to be, I'm just going to do, this is my drawing of a pen. There we go. I'm just going to say it's this pen here. You know, I'll just drag and drop this like that. And then I'll lock all of these layers. That I will group together and just copy like this. So I'll have like a bunch of pens laying down on, you know, a desk or something. What's important here in the title is budget and pen collection. The 2025 is not super important to get across here. The main thing that I want to make obvious is budget and pen collection. Here we can see that it is a pen collection, but I don't know that it's cheap, basically. So one idea here could be, let's say I just rotate these, and then I would have like, you know, a price tag, and that price tag here is looped about this, and this here says $1. And then maybe this one up the top here is $20, or let's just say $2. Let's make it really budget friendly. So now here from this drawing, I can see it's a pen collection and they're cheap pens, which is the point of this video. So that's good. Another idea is EDC. So that means everyday carry. If you carry something every day, it might be in your pocket. So this here is my drawing of a pocket. And then we have the pen here like that. EDC pens. I can't see that it's many though. So you know what? I should do at least 2 or 3 in this pocket here, so you understand, oh, okay, this is multiple pens. It's not just one. One thing that I'm worried about is EDC is a term that like nerds use. Like I didn't know what EDC was until I started this pen channel, and it turns out it means everyday carry. So you'd only know that if you're already very into pens. So maybe I should do one that just says like every day, because if it says every day up here, then at least you understand that. Yeah, okay, and then I'll just do the pen like this, and then I'll duplicate this like that. So yeah, this is pretty good. So if I just do this and duplicate these, so for all of these now, we understand this one here is budget, and we understand that it's pen collection. With this one here, we understand that it's a pen collection, and we understand that it's EDC. Like that. And then with this last one, we understand that it's everyday carry, and we understand that it's a pen collection. So none of them are getting all of the point across. I don't think 2025 matters, to be honest. The only reason I'm doing that is to add some urgency to it. If you see that this is my 2025 YouTube growth course or a 2025 ab workout, then instinctively we just think, oh, okay, this has to be some new relevant information that applies right now and wasn't relevant last year. So that's why I like adding 2025 here. It just adds some urgency to it, but we don't really need that in the thumbnail. I think this is good. I think this is good. EDC, I can see that this is everyday carry because of the pocket. So I don't need EDC here now that I think about it. EDC is coming across with the pocket. So with this one here, we'll have budget here. I could use another word such as cheap or something, but I think I prefer budget. It just sounds more luxurious, like you're still getting quality, whereas cheap doesn't sound like you're getting quality. And the people who watch pen videos typically want like high quality stuff, because if you just think about pens as much as a regular person, you just buy a pen and then you use it and you never think about what brand, or you just don't think about pens that much. Whereas pen enthusiasts really think about this stuff and they want something that's like really high quality. And I think using the word cheap in the thumbnail here wouldn't be a service to that audience. They want something that's budget, meaning it's high quality, whilst still being affordable. All right, so that here is the thumbnail caveman game. We've drawn 3 thumbnails here for our YouTube title. The next step after doing this is something that is so important that a lot of people miss out on, and that's understanding the value that is expected from this video. So let's jump into that now in the next section. All right, the next thing that we're going to look at is the value. So value comes down to a few different things. And basically what we want to understand is with this title and with this thumbnail, what is the expected value from this video? And a lot of people get this wrong. And that's not just small channels. I find that large channels are making this mistake as well. So from this title and from this thumbnail, what is the value? Now, value comes down to 2 main things. Is it educational or is it entertainment? That is it. It's pretty simple. It's either an entertainment video or an educational video. Yes, you can kind of blend the two, but the reason someone comes to your channel is really for one main reason. Now, the past few videos on this channel have all been educational, so I am going to stick with that here. Plus, I don't know if a lot of people would tune into entertainment-based videos about pens. So we'll say the value is educational. Now, with that, the next thing we need to think about is the genre. So with entertainment, the different genres are actually just the different movie genres. So you have inspirational, something like Secret Life of Walter Mitty. You have action, you have adventure, you have romance, you have horror, etc. These are all the different types of movie genres. Now that is for entertainment-based videos. For educational, there's only really 2 types of genres. It's either gain motivation or loss aversion. Basically, the reason someone is watching an educational video is either to get more of something or to avoid losing something. That's the only reason that we are watching videos. Otherwise, we're not going to waste our time watching an educational video. So right now, all of these are gain motivation. There's nothing loss aversion about them. So what we could do is keep it as gain motivation, or we could make it slightly loss aversion, basically. So if we take this one here and move this, if I write every day here for these, cut that like that, and write bin for these, then all of a sudden you want to know, why are these good and why are these going in the bin? So now we've added some loss aversion to it because you're thinking, oh, maybe I'm using one of these pens here that he's throwing in the bin. So you're worried maybe I'm using a pen that's really bad. So what I could do for this one here is $20 with a cross. Let's do red like that. And a $1 with a green like that. That's a good idea. I like that. Now we've added some loss aversion to it because I'm looking at this and thinking, wait, is the $1 pen better than my $20 pen? And that's what we want. We want to cause some rumination. We want to cause them to open a bunch of questions when they see this thumbnail and they're like, oh, wait, am I meant to be using this $1 pen instead of a $20 pen? What if I'm using one of these pens here that he's thrown in the bin? So we've added just a bit more rumination with these two, and we've added some loss aversion. So now I think this kind of counts as loss aversion. The next thing here to understand is the measurement. How are they measuring if this video has provided the value? So they've clicked on it because it's an educational video. This here is an educational video. So they want to learn something. So what is the measurement? How are they measuring this? Well, it's going to be through lessons learned. How much are they learning from this video? Now, with something like this, my budget EDC pen collection, that is also slightly entertainment-based. They might just kind of be more interested in like, what your pen collection looks like. But I presume they also want to learn stuff from this. So knowing that, the value I'm going to provide for this video is educational, and the measurement is going to be lessons learned. If this was entertainment instead, and let's say the genre was comedy, then the measurement would be how many times I laugh, for example. Or if it was an entertainment video and the genre here was horror, then the way I measure that would be how many times I get scared. So it's really, really important for you to understand how are people going to measure this video. And this isn't like, when someone's watching this, they're not sitting down with a pen and pad and going, okay, 1 laugh, 2 laugh. They're not counting laughs or anything like that. But they will just be kind of like instinctively thinking, have I laughed enough in the past minute or in the past 2 minutes for this to be worth me continuing watching? And for me, the measurement here is lessons learned. So basically, I have to ensure that throughout this script now, I have to be teaching quite a lot. Every 10 seconds, every 20 seconds, I have to be providing the value of lessons learned. So I hope that helps. Now we've understood the value of this video. The next thing we are going to look at is the different beats for this video. So let's dive into it. All right, so the next step here is looking at the script. So this here is basically a movie story arc. So you might have heard of the 3-act structure. You might have heard of Save the Cat. You might have heard of Dan Harmon's Story Circle. There are a bunch of different storytelling frameworks out there. And what I've done is taken that from a 120-minute movie and squished it down into a 10-minute YouTube video. So here you can see what it looks like when it's a YouTube video. So we have the intro, we have the why, we have the difficult challenge, the more difficult challenge, the breakthrough, the sacrifice something, the hardest challenge, and the lessons learned. If you think about pretty much every single movie out there, this is pretty much the exact structure that they use. And what I've done is kept the ratios the same and now just squished it into 10 minutes. So here I can see 1, 2, 3, I can see all of the minutes. So what we're going to do here is look at these different beats here. And what I'll do is just plan out what I'm going to talk about in each of these beats. So I have this thing here, which is my beat cheat sheet, formula, whatever you want to call it. And it goes bridge, engage, activity, and takeaway. That has helped me so much. So yeah, let's go through it. What do pen enthusiasts care most about when looking to buy the perfect EDC, everyday carry pen? I want to make a video about this and need the 5 decision factors for the perfect pen. Okay, so we have writing performance, build quality and durability, refill compatibility, ergonomics, aesthetics, and design. That's pretty good. So here are the 4 pens that I'll talk about in the video. My question is, do I break this down by looking at pen 1, then pen 2, then pen 3, then pen 4? Or do I break it down by writing performance, build quality and durability, ergonomics and comfort, aesthetics and design? I think to keep people engaged throughout the whole thing, it's better to go through these different categories instead of talking about one pen and then the next, because if they don't care about this pen, for example, then they'll just skip ahead or they'll click away. So I think I'll do writing performance. So what I'm going to do here is 1, 2, and then here, the activity is writing performance. Then the more difficult challenge, build quality. Then I need here like an emotional breakthrough. I don't know what that's going to be. I'll leave that. Then I need to sacrifice something, probably realizing that the more money you spend, the better the pen will be. But I'll have to sacrifice some stuff in order to get a budget-friendly pen. And then the hardest challenge here. And the hardest challenge will be, what's the last one? Aesthetics and design. Actually, you know what? I think sacrifice will be that. Aesthetics. The aesthetics for the price point. Then I'll have the last point here, ergonomics. And then I need the lessons learned. So from this, we have my 2025 budget EDC pen collection. So what would the lesson learned here from that be? I think it will be more money. Oh wait, I can't have more money does not equal better pen if the sacrificing is the price point. So I think the lesson learned will be my favorite pen. The lesson learned will be this here is my favorite pen for EDC. I quite like that idea. So knowing that is the takeaway, the big overarching lesson on whatever my favorite pen is, that will help me with the intro and the why as well. So now I have the writing performance, the build quality, aesthetics for the price point, the ergonomics, and my favorite pen. Now I need to find like some sort of breakthrough. So what is like an emotional breakthrough? This is in the movie when they talk to someone that gives them that inspirational advice and they have like that emotional breakthrough and they're like, yeah, I'll keep going or whatever it is. I think the emotional breakthrough here will be how important pens are something like that. How important pens are for making my life easier. Importance of a good pen. Something like that I think could work. For this breakthrough here, you know, it doesn't have to be massive. It doesn't have to be like this pen will change my life, but it just needs to be something where I'm like, I realize why this is all so important to me. So yeah, I'll think about that. What could the importance of a good pen be? All right, so now that we have this, the next thing that we're going to look at is the intro. And I have this framework here, which is my framework called the intro framework. And as you can see, it spells out intro, which is very useful. So basically the intro here fits here, as you can see. So it's very quick and we just want to establish the intro and why this video is happening. So that, as you can see, takes up just less than a minute. The intro plus the why, I kind of, you know, combine the two. So yeah, let's go through it. And basically for the intro, the first thing you want is this sentence here. Basically in the first sentence here, we just want to reintroduce the idea in the title and the thumbnail. In the first sentence, we just want to say, hey, you clicked on my 2025 budget EDC pen collection, and that's what we're going to talk about. Because in the first few seconds of the video, people are going to be very skeptical thinking, Is this video actually going to deliver on the promise that they said they are going to in the packaging? So we just want to reaffirm to them the idea so they know, yeah, this is what I said it would be. So let's do that in the first sentence. This is my 2025 budget everyday carry pen collection. It's pretty much the exact same thing as the title. We're just reintroducing the idea and saying it again. The next thing is notability. So why should I trust you to deliver this story? Now, bear in mind, this works for entertainment or for education. So if you have a video which is, I climb the largest mountain in Australia, you just need to explain to me why I should trust you. Maybe it's, as a kid, I always wanted to climb the largest mountain in Australia, but I've never been able to do that. Today, I'm going to attempt to finally achieve my goal of climbing this mountain. You're just telling me why you're the right person to tell this story. And it's the same idea for education. If you have a video which is the 10 best side hustles that you can do online, then, in the first few sentences, you have to just establish why you're the right person to tell the story. So you would say something like, hey, I've got 10 online side hustles, so you can trust me. Now it's like, cool, I trust you to deliver this information because you've actually done some side hustles. So for me, it would be, I run a pen channel. Why am I the right person to tell this story? Having dived into the world of pens, or you know what, we could even say writing instruments. That's like a term that people use in this niche. It's just a fancy word for pen, I think. Having dived into the world of writing instruments, I finally found my curated my favorite collection. That's not bad. Okay, the next thing here is the takeaway. So what is the takeaway of the video? What are we going to learn from this? So from this, the takeaway will be, and that's why we look at this stuff first, it's my favorite pen and all of the different factors that make up a good EDC pen. So the takeaway, I'll show you my EDC pen collection, what makes them the perfect budget-friendly pens, and which wins the perfect EDC pen. I'll show you my personal pen collection, what makes them the perfect budget-friendly pens, and which wins my favorite EDC pen. Okay, cool. So I like that. The next thing here is the risk. So what is the risk if we don't achieve this goal? So let's just take the same idea from before with the mountain. This mountain, X amount of people die per year climbing it. I don't want to die. Cool. Now we've established a very clear risk. Or it could be something like, this trip has cost me X amount of dollars and I don't want to waste that money. Or it could be, I've told my entire family I'm going to do this and they won't believe me the next time I say I'm going to climb a mountain. It could be an emotional thing. It could be a money thing. There's so many different ways you could angle a video like that. Now for this one, what is the risk of buying a pen? Stop wasting your time and energy scouring the internet for pens, and stop wasting your time and energy. If you've spent your time and energy scouring the internet for pens, or you're wasting money on overly priced pens, yeah, I like that. That's good. Now the next thing that we want to do is just open the video. Basically, just open up some questions and get to the actual video. So what is the open question that I could have here? Well, we want to transition to the writing performance. So what is the first question here? How many criteria do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4. Well, I've got 4 criteria for choosing the ultimate budget EDC pen. Well, I've got 4 criteria for choosing the ultimate budget EDC pen. Yeah, that opens it up because now I'm like, oh, what's the 4 criteria? I think that's quite good. Okay, so let's read this out. If you were to click on my 2025 budget EDC pen collection, the first few seconds will go, this is my 2025 budget everyday carry pen collection. Having dived into the world of writing instruments, I've finally curated my favorite collection. I'll show you my personal pen collection, what makes them the perfect budget. I feel like I've said perfect too many times. Ultimate, best. Let's say best. Okay. This is my 2025 budget everyday carry pen collection. Having dived into the world of writing instruments, I've finally curated my favorite collection. I'll show you my personal pen collection, what makes them the best budget-friendly pens, and which wins my favorite EDC pen. If you've spent time and energy scouring the internet for pens, or wasting your money on overly priced pens, well, I've got 4 criterias for choosing the ultimate budget EDC pen. That's pretty good. All right, cool. So that here opens some questions. It establishes why I'm the person to be telling the story. It ticks off all of the different boxes and what we want to accomplish in the first few seconds of our video. And that here is my intro formula that I came up with. I find it really useful. I hope it helps. So the next thing that we're going to look at is the scripting. So we have the intro, we have the different activities, aka the different talking points throughout the video. Now let's look at the bridge, the engage, and the takeaway for each of these. Let's get into it. All right, so let's look at the script a bit more closely. Now, I won't show you the entire scripting process because that will be extremely boring. And since I don't know a lot about pens, ChatGPT will help me quite a lot with that. But instead, I'll show you the most important parts of the scripting process, which is these different beats here. So here we have the activity, aka the talking point, aka what's happening in that part of the video. So in this bit here, we'll be talking about the writing performance. So now what I want to do here is write the bridge sentence, the engage sentence, and the takeaway sentence. So we'll write these first. That way I know what I'll talk about in the activity. So the bridge sentence is basically how do we get from the last talking point to this next talking point? We're basically just creating the bridge. Now, writing the bridge is pretty easy. It either starts with but or therefore. Now, this is a rule that actually comes from the South Park writers, which is pretty interesting. That's just where I heard it, but a lot of people have talked about this. Basically, in this sentence, you don't want to start with and. Saying and doesn't create any tension. So if I was like, I walked to the shops and then I bought a soft drink and then I paid for it and then I walked back home. That's not very interesting. Saying but or therefore adds some tension and it creates a reason that stuff is happening. So as an example, I was walking down the street, but I stepped into some dog poo. Therefore, I needed to go to the shops. But when I got there, I couldn't buy new shoes. Therefore, I needed to walk back home barefoot. But as I did that, I ran into my boss. So that's just a really quick and terrible example. But as you can see, just adding but or therefore just makes it more interesting. So we're going to add here but or therefore. So in this bit here, we've got the intro. And the last sentence is, well, I got 4 criteria for choosing the ultimate budget EDC pen. So I think it makes sense to start with therefore. So is a synonym for therefore. So let's look at criteria 1. So that's a pretty easy sentence to write. Now the next thing here is to engage them. So we need to engage them in this beat here, in the writing performance. So this is basically like re-hooking them, re-engaging them in the point and setting up this next point here. So let's look at criteria 1. Now for this bit here, you don't want to say the takeaway. A lot of people start with the takeaway. So a lot of people when writing, they'll say, so let's look at criteria 1. The Parker Jotter has the best writing performance. Here's why. Well, now I don't need to watch it because I already know the takeaway. The takeaway is the Parker Jotter has the best writing performance, for example. So when you're trying to engage them here, do not tell them the takeaway. The takeaway comes at the end of the beat. And for this one, it's pretty easy. We'll just do, so let's look at criteria 1, the pen's writing performance. And then here, I'll script this later. You don't have to watch this. I'll talk about the writing performance of the different pens. And then lastly, we'll have the takeaway. So the takeaway here will be why the writing performance is so important. So, you know, that's just a smooth pen makes for an enjoyable writing experience. There we go. So there's the takeaway, and we finish with the takeaway. Now, it won't film me doing this for all of these as that will be kind of boring, but hopefully that will help you in coming up with the different beats for your video. And again, these beats work for educational videos or for entertainment videos. So if you had a video which is today I'm cooking the largest bowl of pasta, for example, the first difficult challenge might be I need to find a large bowl, for example. To make the largest bowl of pasta, I need a very large bowl. So that here will be your bridge. So then it's a but or therefore. So, but before I make the largest bowl of pasta, I need to find a bowl to put it in. So now we need to engage them and we need to set up this point. So I started scouring the internet to find a bowl that could hold all of this pasta. Then the activity is trying to find that bowl. And then the takeaway would be, turns out there aren't any bowls that are this large. So I have to make my own. Something like that. But as you can see, it works for entertainment or for educational videos. All right, I hope that helps. After we have the script, the next thing that we're going to look at is the shot list. All right, so now we have the script here, thanks to me and the help of ChatGPT. So we have the intro, which is here. We have the beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4, beat 5, beat 6, and the outro call to action. So the next thing that we want to do is write a shot list. Now you can go really detailed with this. I've seen some people go really, really detailed. Other people don't go into as much detail. It's really up to you. Now I won't go into a lot of detail, but I will just give myself a little checklist here. The first thing that I need to film is the A-roll. So this is the talking head, me just talking to camera. Now, for this, I have 4 different pens, and there are 4 different main talking points here. So what I want to do here is have writing with pen 1. I think what I'll do is angle A, angle B, writing with these pens, and I think I'll leave it at that. I think having 2 angles should be enough, because these sentences here aren't super long. The next thing that I talk about here is the build quality. So I think I'll do holding all the pens and do that in 2 different angles. So maybe one holding it like this and one holding it, from another angle, something like that. That will be like the build quality, plus, I can mix that into different parts. Then we have here the breakthrough moment. So at this point, I realized something. It wasn't just testing pens. I was figuring out why a good pen even matters. When you find the right pen, something just clicks. It's not just a tool, it improves your workflow, your focus, and even your creativity. The Pilot G2 made me realize how much a smooth pen can make writing feel effortless. So I think I need some different shots of me writing. So yeah, me writing at desk with each pen, angle 2, me writing at desk. I'll just do 2 different angles of me writing, basically. And then the next thing here is the aesthetics sacrifice. So I ran into a problem talking about the aesthetics. So that could be the holding pen angle as well. Maybe I'll just do another one here, which is angle C, pen 1 in front of background, and then do that for each of them. And then we have the ergonomics, which I think is fine. We can use one of these angles here. Okay, and then the lessons learned, that will just be the A-roll, I think, with mixing in shots that we've already filmed. So here now I have my shot list. As you can see, it only took a few minutes, and basically I understand now what I need to film. So the first thing that I'll do here is just film the A-roll. So I'll film that now, and I'll show you some clips of me filming it, but that's probably not super exciting. You get the point. You're just talking to camera. All right, so this here will be my main angle. Let me just check. All right, this here will be my talking head angle for the A-roll. So what I'll do is I just got my script here in front of me, and I'll just read out line by line for the intro because I can't remember this entire thing. And then I'll read out the rest of the script as a voiceover. But for the lines that I think I want me talking to camera, I'll just memorize the line and then look up and talk to camera and say that line, and then keep reading it as a voiceover. This process of filming works quite well because I know there's going to be a lot of B-roll, but for my thumbnail videos, I don't actually script it out. I just know so much about thumbnails that I can talk about it endlessly, whereas that is not the case with pens for me, hence I do need to script it out. Plus, when you script it out, you probably will get a better end result. But I'm not a scripting expert, I am a thumbnail guy, but I just thought I would show you my process. This is my budget everyday carry pen collection. This is my budget everyday carry pen collection. This is my everyday budget carry pen collection. This is my everyday carry pen collection. All right, I will show you how I edit one of these videos. So this is my budget everyday carry pen collection. Watch me talk a lot. Now, one thing I like to do down here is I can kind of tell from what I'm doing if it's something I'm repeating. So here I can see, I talk. So most likely it's going to be the last take, which is the good take. So I can delete those and then
this is my everyday carry pen collection.
Cut there. So I'm just using C to cut in Premiere as a shortcut and then clicking on V to use the select tool. So I can just switch between those very easily and then hit play.
Haven't dived into the world of writing instruments.
So I know I'm repeating it, so I can delete the ones before.
I'll show you this video, I'll show you my personal pen collection. In this video, I'll show you the personal pen collection. What makes them the best budget-friendly pens?
Delete. So as you can see, this is how I do it. It's not super exciting. Then I do ripple delete all the gaps in between them. And now we have...
This is my everyday carry pen collection. Having dived into the world of writing instruments, I've finally curated my favorite collection.
I say the word pen collection way too much.
I've finally curated my favorite collection. In this video, I'll show you my personal pen collection.
So if I'm not looking at the camera like I am here, I'll just delete this because I know I need to put something there anyway. But in the first 30 seconds, I just want to have as many cuts as possible.
And which of my collection is my personal favorite EDC pen?
One thing I'm thinking of in the start here, I might actually pixelate out these different pens. That way it just keeps them interested in a bit longer, because if you're a pen nerd, you might see here and recognize, oh, I know that this is the Pilot G2, and then you're more likely to click off because you might immediately recognize what these pens are. But if this is pixelated here, then there's that curiosity gap and you have to stay for longer. So I might do that, but as you can see here, that is how I edit these videos. I won't show the whole thing. It will be incredibly boring. But basically, I just chop up when I'm talking, and if I'm not looking at the camera, then I delete that bit and just leave the audio, because then I know I have to put B-roll there. All right, now it's time for me to get to editing. Okay, so this here is my Premiere Pro timeline. And as you can see, what I've done here is color code the 4 different pens. So I've got green, red, blue, and yellow, just so I can easily see what I'm editing. So I'll give you 2 quick tips with editing. Editing is not the thing that I'm best at, but hopefully these help, especially if you're new to editing with retention in mind. So the first tip is to cut every 2 seconds. So as you can see here, every 2 seconds, I have some sort of cut in the footage. That just makes it more engaging. There's more stuff going on. It's kind of boring to watch the same thing for a long time. So every 2 seconds does help with retention, especially in the introduction. Honestly, I probably should have cut even more in the introduction. But yeah, you really want to cut every 2 seconds just to keep it visually interesting. Then the second tip is show, don't tell. So you basically want to cut to whatever you're talking about. So here, if I'm talking about holding the pen, writing with the pen, okay, I'm going to cut to holding the pen or writing with the pen, etc. You just want to ensure that you show, don't tell. So whatever you're talking about, make sure that you're actually showing that on screen. That way it's just easier to follow and again, more engaging. So here you can see the timeline broken down. I'm cutting quite a lot. At the start, what I did was just take the voiceover here, and anytime that I'm talking to the camera, I leave that bit in. So basically when I recorded the voiceover, what I did was record it, and if I'm like, okay, maybe I'll say this to the camera, I just memorize that line, set it to the camera, and then cut back. And as you can see, I do that every so often, which is showing up here. And if it's just a voiceover, then I simply said down here what I should be cutting to. So these here are the 4 different types of pens. This just helps me with the editing process and makes it go a lot faster. So because I do the voiceover and the talking head in the same take, the editing of that doesn't take that long. And because I planned out what I should have on screen, it doesn't take that long to edit. Okay, here, show pen number 1. Okay, here, show pen number 1 again. So it just makes the process go very quickly. So yeah, that here is the Premiere Pro timeline. Again, I'm not an editing expert. I just thought it'd be interesting to show it. All right, so it's been a full week since I posted the video. Let's go through the data in YouTube Studio. So here we can see the video. It's got 2.7 thousand views as of uploading 7 days ago. I'm pretty happy with that. That is pretty good. And I'm now at 429 subscribers for this channel. So that's with 6 videos. Yes, I know there's only 5 here, but that's because I've posted a short as well. Now, the cool thing to see, I did put more effort into this video than I did with the other ones. The other ones I made in about 3 to 4 hours, maybe 5. It was really 4 hours at most on average. This one took a bit longer, but that's also because I was recording the behind the scenes and talking through every single thing that I was doing. So of course it's going to take longer. But it is cool to see that this is performing the best out of the 5 videos. If you're completely new to YouTube, basically 1 of 5 just means it is performing number 1 out of the past 5 videos. So it's the best performing one out of the past 5. Most YouTubers will talk about 1 of 10 or 10 of 10, but I don't have 10 videos on this channel yet. I've only got the 5 videos, so that's why it says 1 of 5. Okay, so we're at 2.8 thousand views. We have an impression click-through rate of 4.2, which I'm pretty happy with, especially for this niche. So basically what that means is when someone sees this thumbnail, so if 100 people see this thumbnail, 4 of them will click on it. So 4% of the people who see this thumbnail decide to actually click on it. And to be honest, I'm pretty happy with 4% for this video. Okay, let's look at some more analytics in here. All right, so we're at 2.8 thousand views, and as you can see, it is steadily climbing, which is pretty good. We got plus 16 subscribers, which isn't anything to brag about, to be honest. Then down here, we have the retention curve. So 34% average view duration, which is all right. It's not crazy impressive, to be honest. Again, my expertise is in thumbnails, not with scripting, but this here is pretty okay. One thing that you really want to look at with your retention graphs is if there is any major drop-off point. So if you're looking at your retention graph and you're seeing major dips, then there is an issue that you really have to tackle. This means at certain points in your video, you are saying something or showing something or something's happening on screen, which is causing people to drop off. So here you really want to look into what am I doing in this exact second that's causing people to leave. Or you might have an issue similar to mine where it looks like this. And basically for this, what you need to do is constantly reintroduce new ideas to keep people hooked. I could imagine even adding timestamps to this video could help with the retention, because if someone then gets bored and they want to click away, instead then they might just click to the next timestamp instead, which will cause, a bit of a spike for that retention graph. You might be thinking, hey, these views aren't crazy impressive, but it is a small channel. It's only got 400 subscribers. And I also abandoned the channel. I haven't posted on there for 2 months. So given that, I think 2.8 thousand views in the first week is pretty good. I also think it's one of those videos that will steadily climb over time, just because it's got a bit of SEO in the title. All right, let's look at reach. So 4.2% impression. I'm happy with that. Okay, so here is the thumbnail test data. So the one that I thought would win did win. Here we can see everyday and bin, and it has 42.8% watch time share, which is really interesting to see. And the worst performing one was this one here. And that totally makes sense from a psychology standpoint. I wanted to test out this other one just because it is more, it looks more like the standard pen channel thumbnail. So I thought I should test out like what the niche standard is. But the other two thumbnails which outperformed it have that loss aversion in there, which just means that it's really nailing the psychology of the thumbnail a lot more. Those two both had something negative with it. So, okay, I'm going to throw one of my pens away. I don't want to throw my pens away. Why is that happening? And for the other thumbnail, okay, this cheap pen is better than this expensive pen. Why is that the case? Is my expensive pen not any good? So that way we just have a bit more rumination and we have a bit of loss aversion, which are really important elements in creating an effective thumbnail. Speaking of, if you want to become an expert with thumbnails, then check out my course. It's linked below. It is all about thumbnail design. And I also have a module all about my title formula. The course does not cover stuff like the glow effect or, any of these quick hacks and stuff that you can do in Photoshop or Canva. This is the psychology and strategy of thumbnail design. It is an absolute cheat code for you to nail the strategy in your thumbnails. It is linked below. Check it out. If you like this video, then you'll love the course. If you want to see me roast my subscribers' thumbnails, then click on this video here. In the video, I go through my subscribers. In the video, I go through my subscribers, and I basically roast. In the video, I basically say, so yeah, click on it. It's good.